Hello, everyone. This is Brother Benson Media, and this is a special. I usually call it the view, the viewpoint, and this is my view. Today, I want to discuss something that is of to me. I think it's very informative to everyone out there who would like to purchase land back at home, especially when you're in Kenya and you want to purchase land, and maybe you are in diaspora and you want to engage your friends to buy or your family to buy your land, there are some of the things that you have to put in consideration. First of all, before I look at the steps or before I go into the steps on what should be done, especially when you are buying land, I just want to also say that there are types of titles that you also have to know what kind of title are your land you're purchasing has. And I made some notes. I came up with around at least four types of titles that we might have in Kenya. If you are our viewer in this channel and you know one that is left out, you are free to comment or write it on the comment section so we can teach ourselves, so we can enlighten ourselves when it comes to land issues, because so many things have happened, despite the fact that so many awareness have been raised and people have listened. There are so many land agents who are doing a good job, but still along the way we find uh, uh, the majority of people who buy land, they end up losing those lands just because maybe the process was not followed. If you follow the due process, especially when purchasing land, then you will be good. So I want to give you just only type of titles before I go into the process. One of the titles, type of the title that we have certificate of lease. And certificate of lease, sometimes it is called the leasehold. This is a situation whereby you can lease is for a specific period of time. It can be 40 years, 50 years, or 90 years. So especially this is I think is always found in the urban centers. Maybe you are in Nairobi, you want to purchase land because it's within the city will lease it to you for a certain period of time. And during those leases, I think you have to pay like ground rent, things like that. So that is one type of title. Another one is absolute title or freehold. This is opposite of the leasehold. This is where the owner of the land has the right and no restriction on that land. You have the right of the land, especially when I might say, when you look at the titles that we have back in our ancestral land, they are more or less like freehold, whereby we have the right over those lands. Yeah, yeah, you have full rights, no restrictions on it. So that is another type of title. Another type of title is sectional title. This is usually found in uh, maybe, for example, somebody build apartments, long apartments, and it has units. So you might have a sectional title whereby by buying just only a unit, and when you buy the unit, the land sits on one plot. That apartment, it sits on a plot, but you're only getting a title for a unit, maybe a unit one, unit two. And it also, you might find a unit that has like around even 10 doors in the second floor. So if the second floor has like maybe three family units, so all the three family units will be having a sectional title deed. So that is something also you have to know when you're purchasing land. What kind of title am I getting when I'm purchasing this land? Then there's also what we call certificate of title. This is issued due to subdivision without change of user. You know what is meant for, and this is it is under the Registered Land Act Cap 12. So those are the titles, the type of titles that we have. Maybe if you're purchasing land, you have to know what kind of title will I be given. So you have to do your due diligence and know what kind of title will I be given, and that's it. So Now, apart from that, now I just wanna, sorry, I made the notes in another area, so I will be reading because I want to give the correct information, so that next time if you watch this and you want to buy a land, you have to go through these processes. If you go through these processes, I tell you, you will not get it wrong. Even if the plot is being sold to you by an agent, try as much as you can to know uh, what you're buying. I know there are reputable agents that are doing a very great job when it comes to sale of the property. But still, as somebody who is purchasing this land, try to get to more information about this. So one of the steps to me I would take if I'm to purchase a land, and I'm advising you also, it might be very good, is to identify your land of choice. Yeah, you have to identify what kind of land do I want to buy. After sitting down and having discussion with yourself, and you say, I want to buy this kind of, do I want to buy the residential kind of plot, or I want to buy commercial, or I want to buy a land back in the village to build my home. So you have to identify that. So after identifying that, that is a very good, in, yeah, identify the location and everything. That is all that you need to do. Don't just buy like somebody is telling you, okay, this plot are selling well. It is a plot of your choice, or you're buying because it is situated somewhere. There are so many things that also you have to look at when you are identifying, the area. What is the area like? So that is step number one to me. Then step number two, do a search at the land registry. Very important. Don't ignore that. Yeah. Try and do a search. And if you're buying it from agent, just make sure the agent, even you can go to the land registry. It's not something that is very difficult to do. There are some requirements. You have to have a KRA PIN number. So you attach it and you go. So when you do a search will give you number of things. Search will give you information. One, it will give you the information, the acreage of that plot. That is one. Two, the search will give you the ownership. Yeah, the search will give you the ownership of that land. Three, the search will give you the type of title, or yes, the nature of title that land has. So, and the search will also tell you whether the plot is under dispute, whether the plot has restrictions, or whether the plot has like a bank is charged to any bank. So don't ignore. Make sure you do this, and make sure you do it at the land registry. Don't send anybody, or you can engage your lawyer. Sometimes we call another people call them attorney. Engage them, pay them so that they can do good job. They're lawyers, advocates who are doing a good job when it comes to land buying processes the legal way. Try to engage them. That is number two. After doing that, because you have also to confirm whether there is any unpaid land rates. You have to. So when you are buying, make sure that the plot you're buying, is it up to date when it comes to land rates? Because you have to pay the land rates. Don't just buy, because if you don't confirm those, which means if you buy that land with unpaid land rates, the money, all the unpaid expenses will be paid by you. So take note of that. Then another thing that you have to do, get the map of the area. These are found in surveyor's office, in any government office, especially surveyor's office. Get that land. The map will give you how. First of all, it will show you how plots look like, and with the help of a very qualified surveyor. Don't just go as an individual. Sometimes you may not have the expertise to know how to read the map, and how know how the map is. Sometimes you might buy, when you have the map will show you how the plot is, what is it on the ground, and what is in the map if they resemble. So that is something that you have to put in consideration. These are just the overview. There are so many things that you need to do. Then, number five, you have to do what we call land verification. And the land verification, this is where you will involve your surveyor. Yeah. After buying the land, that's why I was telling you, after buying the map, now you have to have the surveyor with you, and you will do land verification. Don't just pay without the surveyor. You might be surprised that there is a boundary dispute in that plot. You might be surprised maybe somebody has encroached in that plot that you are buying. So make sure you involve the professional. Don't do it alone. Because if you do it alone, at the end of the day, after you've paid your money will go like that. Then after doing that and finding that everything is okay from the search to buying the map to the land rates, now you this is now the time for you now to sign the sale agreement, because now you are signing something that you have a good knowledge of. Don't just sign before doing all those steps that I've told you. Yeah, it's very important. It's very important. Then after signing the agreement, you have to make sure that um, the land control board clearance, don't pass those. Those pay, make sure the clearance, you get the clearance from the land board. And I'm planning in the near future to bring in professional, especially who so we can go into details about all this stuff, so that you don't become a victim, so that you don't lose your money when you're buying, especially when you're buying and you're in diaspora. You might go home after you're staying in diaspora and find out that there's nothing there. Then you have to do what we call the land valuation. The land valuation is very important because, one, it will tell you the value of the land at that particular moment, you know. And we have private valuers and the government valuers. So maybe for your book purposes, you might involve the private valuers. They are very, very good firms I know of, that are doing very good valuation, that will not exaggerate the fee and everything. I mean, the fee, even the value of your property, that will give you what is the current value of the property you're buying. So that is after the land valuation was number eight, and then the step is the transfer of land. Yeah, so this is also very important. You have to make sure. So this is where the buyer and the seller both sign the required transfer forms, and the buyer then proceed to the land registry where the land is located. The seller must go with the following documents for transfer to be done. So these are the documents that the seller has to go with when the transfer is going to take place. The land control board document form. Yeah, this is a land control board consent form, must be there. Make sure that is there when you are, or if your advocate is doing this for you, the seller will also have to accompany your advocate with that. Then there must be KRA PIN number, very important. Yeah, there must be a passport size photos, very important. The old title, because immediately you buy land, yeah, because the change of ownership is going to there's going to be a change of ownership. So the old title with the original owner must be taken back to the land registrar, and this is done by the seller because it's going, for instance, if the plot was in the village and the subdivision has taken place, one, the original number will disappear, and it will generate numbers based on how many people the plot is being subdivided to. So which means the original number will disappear and it will generate maybe four, five, six, up to 10 numbers if people are for if people who are buying those lands, or if the number of gentlemen or number of people who are buying those land were like 10. So it will generate those numbers. Now, so that after going with all those and the sale agreement, yeah, that's number five, the document that has to come accompany the seller has to go with the sale agreement. Then what will happen now? The change of ownership. Now the change of ownership will uh, will be initiated, whereby the seller, his name will no longer be in the title, but your name, the buyer, your name will be the title. In most cases, I know it should take up to maybe 3 to 5 weeks. That's the required, but sometimes it's take. Then now the last step, if it was a subdivision, especially if you're buying it and the plot has been subdivided, there are two titles that are going to come out. The one title is going to go to the seller with different acres, acreage. I mean, the acreage is going to be different because you've sold part of it, and the buyer also will get his title deed indicating the acreage he bought from the seller. Yeah. Then the seller, as the new owner, will then proceed to pay required stamp. There's stamp duty that the seller will have to pay to the government, and in all those, then the land location, the location of the land will be given to you based on the titles. The title of changes have taken place. So this is what will happen immediately. All that is done. So when you go to do a search as a buyer with the number that you are transferred to, you will have to get the details, your details on the official search, you know, at the registry. Yeah. And now you will have the full ownership of the plot you have bought. So for your information, please, I'm not. I'm just advising you as some of the processes that you have to follow. But if you feel you cannot do it by yourself, try to engage your advocate to do it for you. They will do a very diligent job. And maybe the reason why I decided to do this, I was just um, wondering how, like for instance, look at what is happening in Athi River. Do you know how in the kind of investment those houses has costed the people, and now they're being brought down? It's very painful. Maybe you've hustled the whole, maybe over 10 years, and you've invested in that kind of a very beautiful property, then it's just being brought down in a day. So now, as a person or as anybody, it should be a lesson to you. Check. I hope and I believe, like the majority of Kenyans who bought the land at Athi River where the demolition is taking place, they followed this due process. Yeah. Because if you do a search, the search will always give you information that the land you're buying currently, it has a dispute. It is always indicated. It might be having a restriction, or there must be charge to any bank. Maybe the owner maybe might have secured a loan with it as a security. The search will always give you that. So when you see such, because when you see such in the in that's those kind of information on the search, that's a red flag for you, and it tells you not to proceed until the seller settle all those. Then proceed. Even if the plot is in a very prime area, don't. And if you're using the agents, yeah, to secure or to acquire or to buy a land, that make sure you also as a person, you do your due diligence. Yeah. Because when you're buying property, you have to know, especially when you are signing that sale agreement, you have to know, you must have a knowledge of what agreement you're signing. Don't just sign, especially if it is a plot that involves family members. Let them agree first before you buy it, and you will be safe. Those simple steps, they are very, very simple, and don't even pass even one, especially if you're buying land. They are very, very simple. There are so many documents that you can go to land office and give you the kind of property. I know there's also a document called the certified copies of a green card. That is very important document. It will give you the history of that plot that you're buying. If so many subdivision has taken place in that plot, certified copy of a green card will give you that. It will give you the original number, how many subdivision has taken place, what kind of numbers have been generated. It will give you all information. So, and these information are accessible at lands office because they are public document. So, my fellow Kenyans and my fellow friends, it's just an information. If you feel there's a place that I've not said something that is right, you have a right to comment and correct me, because we are learning. We are not perfect in everything, and that's why we are here, to pass information to everyone, so that if a friend or any other person watches this video and is he or she is interested to buy a land, try to put some of the steps that I've said in consideration. Then you can give me a feedback whether it worked or it did not work, whether I'm wrong or I'm right. And thank you so much for watching. And if you are new here in Brother Benson Media, you can join the family by subscription. Yeah. And you can also invite friends to come and join us, because here we are having conversation on issues that affect us. Like now, the land issue. You see how it has affected the our brothers and sisters at Athi River, and it's so painful if you see all that investment going down. So thank you so much, and may God bless you. See you next time. Thank you.